how to build an innovative tech brand in one of the least glamorous industries imaginable. Stay tuned to find out. Hello friends, you are watching a fresh episode of the Green New Perspective podcast, your go-to place when you want to learn about innovative technologies and discover marketing strategies that are fueling growth in the space. My guest in today's episode is William Gagnon from XLDryer, the company behind famous XLERATOR hand dryers. But we're not going to talk about hand dryers, or not solely about hand dryers in this episode. We are going to talk about how they stayed resilient through tariffs, through global supply chain chaos, post-COVID misinformation, all while cutting carbon footprint by 94%, you heard me well, 94%, and educating the market about better hand hygiene and smarter building design. If you care about manufacturing, sustainability, or maybe you just love a great reinvention story, you'll want to stick around to this one.
This episode of Green New Perspective is brought to you by New Perspective Marketing. For over 20 years, New Perspective has helped future-focused B2B tech companies grow by building thought leadership, attracting better qualified leads, and driving pipeline growth. If you're ready for smart strategies, measurable results, and a partner who's invested in your success, visit npws.com to learn more.
Hey Bill, welcome to the Green New Perspective podcast.
Thanks for having me.
So let's start with this quick intro. So XLDryer has been a leader in hand hygiene for decades now. So for our listeners who might not know the brand, can you give us a brief overview of the company's story and what sets you apart? And then a bit about you. How has your role evolved since stepping into leadership?
Sure. So XLDryer is a manufacturer of American-made hand dryers. It was founded in 1963. It's been a quality brand in the industry for a long time. My father purchased it in 1997 and is a family-run business. So Dennis, my father, Nancy, my mother, and myself, we worked together to invent the XLERATOR hand dryer, which is our number one product and brand of product. And it was the first high-speed, energy-efficient hand dryer model created, which we taglined as finally a fast hand dryer. People know the old hand dryers, you push the button, they barely blow any air, they don't dry your hands, and you have to use your clothes to finish. My father wanted to improve on that. He has a lot of manufacturing background, working for Milton Bradley and Hasbro, the toy company, and had built manufacturing plants for them internationally. And he wanted to always dreamed of owning his own business, wanted it to be a manufacturing business. His vision was to make a quality American-made product that was dependable and people like to use. So when he was looking to buy a business, XLDryer was available for purchase. That's how he got into the business. And when he did, he realized the product that they were making, people didn't like to use and needed to build a better mousetrap, as it was quoted in one of his early articles. And we found a team of inventors from MIT in the Boston area that had an idea of moving air fast and it could help dry hands. And 3 years later, after working with them, XLERATOR was created. It really changed the industry. There are many more companies who are manufacturing high-speed, energy-efficient hand dryer models now. So it significantly grew the industry, grew it internationally, and really changed the direction of the hand dryer industry. Now XLERATOR is the number one brand sold, certainly in North America, and we are installed in all sorts of commercial facilities, from Walmart and Target to McDonald's and Burger King, or Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts and places like that. And so we're also an international company and ship our dryers all over the world. So that's what we're doing today. And we've got several hand dryer models, but that's all we do. We just do quality American-made hand dryers.
Yeah, you mentioned that XL has been family-owned for 2 generations, right? So what's it like leading a company with deep roots, but a strong focus on future and growth and innovation?
Yeah, so for me, it's been a very fun ride with XLERATOR. We didn't know what we had when we invented it. We weren't sure if it would be successful. It's certainly been more successful than we ever thought it might be in the beginning. So I've really learned along the way, from being in the factory to building dryers when I was younger, to being the head salesperson and selling and to all the big accounts early on, and then heading up the marketing team and getting into R&D. So I've really been all over the company. So for me, it's been great. And now we have an expanded team. We've continued to expand our facilities. We continue to hire as we grow, and we're creating more jobs. And we have a great team built for the next generation to work with me and bring our new innovative products that are about to be coming to the market forward.
So you've been growing up with the product, literally.
Yes, absolutely.
You mentioned that the XL dryer is manufactured in the US. So why has that remained a priority for you? Because many companies are outsourcing overseas. We know that.
Yes, so that's really was started with Dennis, my father, and that was his simple vision of make a quality product, American-made product that is dependable and people like to use, and that was his formula. And with XL Dryer, it was made in East Longmeadow, Massachusetts here, and we have since looked to change our vendors to be all domestic and to try and get to be 100% American made. And again, that was his vision. I support it and have continued to help bring that to fruition. And we now have all of our vendors, our domestic vendors in the United States, and we even go layers deeper, and the materials they source are sourced from the United States and domestically. And so we're the only hand dryer left that still is American made. And yeah, the easy route was to ship it overseas, have it made in China for cheaper so you could be more competitive. That's what World Dryer did, who was the previous number one. And when they did, they had the issues you would expect. Their quality dropped. They had issues with supply chain and getting dryers and parts at times. So we really wanted to be in control of our manufacturing of our product and make sure we had the quality control, and the components and the parts that were going into the dryer were all dependable and vetted. And that's why we have less than a 1% failure rate on our product. And yes, it takes more effort and you have to want to do it. So the easier road is to go overseas, but that was never on our roadmap, and being made in America is just in our DNA.
So what kind of difference has domestic production made for Excel when it comes to staying resilient? Because that's one of the main topics these days, considering global supply chain challenges, and taxes and everything.
Sure. So in today's, let's just call it interesting environment going on with tariffs, we are tariff resilient because of our domestic supply chain. So we have over 4,000 distributors globally, most of which are just thousands of distributors in the United States. And there are some large distributors of just hand dryers that we work with, but they sell all brands. And, as an example, they just sent out a bulletin to all their customers listing all of the hand dryer brands and what their percent increase on price was. And XL Dryer's name was not on it because we don't have a price increase. And to the fact that because we're good partners, they're going to be sending out a bulletin just to remind everybody that XL will not be having a price increase because it's made in USA, and that they didn't forget to list us on that list. It's because we won't be having a price increase. So it's putting us in a competitive advantage right now against our top competitors who are made overseas in China and Malaysia and other countries.
And your team, as far as I know, is active both in e-commerce and then traditional distribution. So what's the strategy behind using both channels, and how do you make them work together?
Well, if you want to sell any product, you better be able to sell it online. And it's a driving force. We work closely with partners to help give us the best visibility online. We do a lot of integrated digital marketing, from Google AdWords and pay-per-click to the third-party selling sites like Amazon and eBay and Walmart's platforms, things like that. So we really worked hard from the beginning. We worked hard to make sure our dryers had a strong presence and were available no matter where you looked online. But really, in the beginning, it was driven more by the brick and mortar stores and our manufacturer representatives kind of going out and positioning the product in front of customers. And in the beginning, buying online wasn't trusted as much as it is today. But now everyone does, and we see, there's a large shift, and we do significant business online. And the other thing I would mention is the selling online through third-party sites has helped us internationally, where we might not have representation in a country, but we can easily set up on a third-party selling site to make it available to people. So that's something that we've been working on more recently to open up more international markets.
Yeah, I imagine that marketing hand dryers isn't always a flashy task, let's say, but education might be a big focus on it for your team there. So how do you raise awareness in a category that might be overlooked sometimes?
Yeah, it's true. We are a niche product line, but the other interesting thing is every commercial building has bathrooms, and we sell to every single industry. So we actually have to do a lot of unique marketing and expansive marketing, whether it's a restaurant, an airport, a school. So we really deal with everybody across the board. So quite expansive and not just a plain simple task that you might think. And for us, it is all about education. So we really have two pillars of business. It's the new construction and building of new buildings and getting specified. And that's done through the AEC community and the architects, engineers, and construction people that design and build the buildings. So we have to educate them, make them aware of our product to be put into specifications. On the other end, it's retrofit into existing buildings, where we're working with facility managers and operators and owners to educate them on, if you're using paper, here's all the benefits of why you'd want to switch to a hand dryer for saving money, saving time, saving the environment, but also cleaner restroom. So it's educating them, but in a slightly different way. So yes, we have to constantly find as many channels as we can to get in front of our message in front of people and to educate on both sides.
Yeah, and I feel like we can talk about hand dryers a bit, and not to mention pandemic. I feel like hygiene expectations have shifted dramatically since then. So from your perspective, what changes have you seen in how facilities approach hand drying?
Yeah, so the pandemic was certainly a difficult time for us, as the one area where the paper towel industry, which is really our number one competitor, would always fund studies that say dryers blow germs. These are not true. We have third-party studies that state that hand dryers are as safe and hygienic as paper towels. So you absolutely can use hand dryers safely to dry your hands. It's recommended by the CDC and the World Health Organization. The most important part, which everyone globally agrees on, is that whatever you use, make sure your hands get dry. So wet hands are not good, because they are 1,000 times more susceptible to either receive germs or transmit germs when they're wet. So just make sure you dry your hands. That's part of proper hand hygiene. So we had to do education in times 10 to educate everyone that it was still okay. And our dryers offer HEPA filtration in them. So what people learned is that moving air is very important after the pandemic. Stagnant air is bad, moving air is good. Replacing the air in the room, and air exchange rates are a huge focus now. And if you're moving air through a HEPA filter, that's going to help take whatever's in the air out of the air. So we're seeing an uptick on the HEPA filter versions of our dryers. And that's something that paper towels can't do and will never be able to do, is help improve the air quality in the restroom. A used paper towel is a breeding ground for bacteria. So when you use it, throw it in the trash, or it ends up on the floor, all that's doing is adding bacteria to the environment, giving it a place to thrive and live. Or viruses. A heated hand dryer with HEPA filtration is a very safe way to dry your hands and eliminates a lot of those issues. During, it was difficult, but now that we know and we've learned, I think it will end up being a springboard for the hand drying industry, for everyone, that it is the better drying solution. And with all of our new integrated products, like the hand dryer on the sink deck next to the faucet, so you have the soap faucet hand dryer, you get to wash, rinse, and dry all in one place, keep the water in the basin, have your personal space without moving around. Or that is becoming, I think, the future of commercial restrooms. And you're seeing those products put into the newer buildings now. So I feel that during was difficult again, but now that everyone's forced to educate themselves and learn, they're seeing that our solution is the better solution.
B2B marketing is shifting fast. In our latest marketing trends report, we dug into what's moving the needle for growth-minded teams. A few standouts. AI is changing personalization fast. Trust-building content is outperforming polished sales pitches. And hybrid events are replacing static webinars. Whether you're in strategy, sales, or execution, this report helps you align with where the market is heading. Get your copy at mpws.net/trends. That's mpws.net/trends.
So you recently released this global survey on public perceptions around restrooms. Were there any results that surprised you?
Well, we didn't know what the results were going to be. And this is something I really wanted to do because I wanted to know myself and understand what is the world thinking now. And we had been through it all and through the ringer. And I said, well, where did we end up? Let's get a survey and let's get some data. And I was pleasantly surprised about how uniform the answers were and the conclusions, because we did 5 countries and we did 4 personas where we did architects and engineers, or architects and designers, then we did facility managers, we did restaurant owners, and then just the everyday consumer. Very different perspectives depending on what category you were in. And it was from people from Turkey, Germany, the UK, and the US. So different regions of the world and countries, I would think the results would differ. But what we found was there were 3 things that no matter who you were and where you lived were the same. Number 1 was the number 1 concern of everyone everywhere of commercial restrooms after the pandemic is cleanliness and hygiene. They all agreed 100%, all categories from all countries, that a dirty restroom reflects poorly on the establishment, and they will think differently of it if they experience a dirty restroom. And to the point with restaurants that 80% of people, and again, from all countries and all groups, 80% said they might not or would not return to a restaurant if they experience a dirty restroom, because they'd worry about what else are they not cleaning and keeping up, like the kitchen. And then, of course, I had to ask the question, well, what makes a dirty restroom? And that's where it was enlightening, and across the board, the number 1 contributing factor in all categories to a dirty restroom was paper towels on the floor and overflowing in the waste baskets, was what people said made them feel like the restroom was dirty. So that was very eye-opening, and it just shows that post-pandemic, you better be thinking about the design of your restroom, making sure it's designed to look and feel clean and have the right amount of space so you're not on top of people. It is an important room in any building to make sure you're keeping clean for whoever might be, whether it's an employee, a visitor, diner, or, depending on the facility, everyone's noticing. So it's important to have a positive restroom experience no matter what facility you have.
And from the design side, since you mentioned you survey designers as well, because I'm asking this because I know that you're connecting with architects and designers early on, like long before the restroom is ever built. So why is that involvement important, and how did they react when you asked them in the survey?
Yeah, so we are a specified product, and we have always been in touch with and educating architects and designers and presenting at their firms at the industry trade shows and staying in front of them to educate them. It's just part of our business model. But I would say a change has been pre-pandemic. You look at a building and there's a budget, and the bathrooms would be on the bottom of the list, and well, what money do we have left over? Do the best you can with it in the bathroom. I would say post-pandemic, it is now toward the top of the list. It's a focal point, and there's more investment in it because they realize that it's important to that facility, and the people who are using it it's important for them to have a positive experience where they feel it's clean and they're safe So we're seeing a lot more attention put into the design and more money being spent and it becoming a higher priority.
We've mentioned sustainability a couple of times during this conversation, so let's talk about sustainability. XL has made ESG a long-term focus, not just a checklist. So what does that commitment look like in practice?
Yeah, so some historical things that we were on the green movement from the beginning. Our high efficiency accelerator model meant it used 80% less energy to dry hands 3 times faster. So not only was it faster, it used 80% less energy, huge difference. And dryers have always been known to be a greener solution to paper, but not to this level. And we were the first company to join the United States Green Building Council. We were the first dryer company to perform a complete life cycle assessment on our product versus virgin paper and even 100% recycled paper, which back then people thought that was the most environmentally friendly solution for drying hands was 100% recycled paper. Excuse me. But that couldn't be further from the truth. And we did the life cycle assessment with a third party, and they found that it was up to an 84% reduction in carbon footprint versus even 100% recycled paper. And the aha moment for a lot of people was they just think recycled paper can just keep getting recycled. And it's a 360 loop. You can only use that paper towel once, and once it's in the trash, it goes to the landfill. It does not get recycled again. So that was a misconception that again, through education, even green leaders at the time were so surprised by the results, they couldn't believe it. And so again, post-pandemic, we did that in 2009. It's 2024 at the time. Last year, when we did the survey, I also did, let's do another life cycle assessment to see if the paper industry has gotten better since 2009. And what are the results today? And we have more products now. So let's see how those products compare. And to our surprise, the paper industry hasn't gotten better. It's gotten worse. And it's now up to a 94% reduction of carbon footprint versus even 100% recycled paper towels. And now we have that data that took almost a full year through 2024 to harvest all this data and do the research, a 75-page document that you can dive as far into all the environmental factors of the two solutions. But ultimately, the summary chart is 2 giant bars for paper still and the small sliver for hand dryers. So we are by far the greener choice and more environmentally friendly choice for hand drying.
And can you tell us a bit more about your sustainability goals and how they show up in your approach to, we mentioned here, product design, operations, and sourcing?
Yeah, so we like to practice what we preach. And so our products are a green product. I'll give you an example so we ask architects, designers, facility owners to put in hand dryers because it's the better choice. We just expanded our headquarter facilities, built a brand new office expansion, and we focused on our previous expansion was focused on being LEED certified because LEED was the driving standard and guideline at the time for sustainable design, and we achieved LEED Gold. And for this expansion, the newer certification is WELL certification, which is focused more so on not just what products go into the building and how you build it, but it's the people living in the building after it's built, and their health and wellness is what the WELL certification is focused on. So I wanted to build the new office that was the most beautiful, sustainable, and healthiest office possible because that's what we ask others to do. So the new office I'm sitting in, it's already won several awards for its design. I selected with the architect, every finish and product, it all has a story on how it's sustainable or healthy in some way, from the lighting to the carpeting to the wall coverings. Our HVAC system has Life Air system in it, which kills all VOCs in a single pass. It's a gold standard. So we have natural light, clean air, self-tuning lights to help with the circadian rhythm of humans and all sorts of cool innovation within our own space. And of course, we feature our own products in the bathroom. And this is now all available in a CEU course to teach architects and designers how to design a healthy interior. So we turned it into an education platform as well. So we did it ourselves, and now you can learn about it. And then, of course, it weaves in our own products.
And
So
how
that's
initiatives...
we walk the walk and talk the talk. And when it comes to how we make our product, we're always focused on continuous improvement and finding materials that go into our product to be more sustainable or to reduce the use of materials in general. How can we do more with less? So we're always trying to improve the product, and we're focused on the space that we work in as well as what our product does for others.
And how do initiatives like that shape how customers or partners view your company?
Yeah, I feel that people understand that we're really an industry leader in this niche industry. And when we say something about our product, we can back it up with third-party testing, and we're transparent. So we'll give you the study that was done. We're the first and only hand dryers that have EPD's Environmental Product Declaration certifications and HPD's Health Product Declaration certifications. So, we had to open up, our books, if you will, and give access to all of our vendors. So the people who did the HPD certification knew exactly where all the raw materials were coming from. There were no VOCs, and it's all listed in the documentation that we make available to anyone. So again, we're not hiding anything. We're very transparent. And I think that to a lot of people, that shows quality and the leadership, and that when it comes to hand dryers, we feel we are the best choice.
And with the new building codes and ESG requirements and buyer expectations evolving, how are you thinking about what's next in the built environment?
Yeah, so our products are right in line with all of those new goals being set. And what we try to do is lead through innovation. So we have new products being designed that we will bring to the market that will improve on what our accelerator and dryer models do today. And it's a lot of new technology that we'll be putting into it and enhanced design. There's a lot. So we're always working on something.
When is the new product going to come out?
Well, we're hoping that there's several projects in the works, but certainly next year we will have some new products on the market. Not sure when, but we're diligently working at it and excited about it.
Yeah, pretty fast. Well, to wrap up, I have to ask you, what are you most excited about the future of the hygiene industry? And where is XL Dryer headed in the next few years? We mentioned new products. Is there something else you would like to share?
Yeah, so we're really focused on becoming a true global leader, and expanding our international business is a focus. But the new products that we're designing and making right now and about to bring to market is the most exciting part. I think that we have the ability to change the direction of the industry again and bring innovation to the industry. And as we expand with more global partners, we'll be able to get that product internationally distributed, because we're much larger now than we were with the first accelerator. So we're in a great position to grow and to really drive our new products to become the global standard.
Well, Bill, thank you for being my guest here at the Green New Perspective podcast. And what can I say? Keep up the good work.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, and appreciate you having me.
Thank you for tuning in to Green New Perspective. This podcast is proudly sponsored by New Perspective. We are a Boston-based marketing agency working with Cleantech clients solely for over 20 years now. And if you want to check out how we help our Cleantech clients to grow, you can click on the link in the description of this episode. If you like what we do here with the podcast, giving some amazing people from all over the Cleantech space a place where they can showcase their innovative tech aimed at combating climate change, you can support us in so many ways. You can leave reviews, comments, or consider subscribing to our channel on your favorite streaming platform. We've noticed that around 75% of you who are regularly watching our show are not subscribing, so just by hitting that subscribe button, you could help us to grow, to get even more people from the Cleantech space and create additional content. So please consider doing that. Thank you in advance. And of course, thank you for tuning in to this episode, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye.